Good afternoon, everyone. It is Commo John here with an official strike report. It's Monday afternoon, the 11th of March. I hope everyone is doing okay. Listen, today's report that I want to pass on to you is about a piece of correspondence that has been seen by many people on social media, and it is related to a mooted transport truckers strike in April sometime, and followed by blockade type activity. That's been circulating. I know many people have now seen this unsigned correspondence. Now, I didn't know anything about it at all, folks out there. It was drawn to my attention a short time after, a day or two, whatever, after it was raised publicly in an interview between Carl Leibold and Darren Bergworth from My Place and Carl from Voice of Freedom. So I didn't know anything about it. But it was drawn to my attention, and I thought, okay, wow, this is interesting. All right. Now, I made some initial notes about this report, and I went about my business, organising the national strike, Australia's business. Now, I've been contacted on last Saturday, by Carl Bergsworth from My Place, and he contacted me and discussed this report, this correspondence with me, and said that I should see it. And I said, sure, if you've got a copy, send it to me. I'll have a look at it. And he did so. So I got a copy of this correspondence on Saturday. I read through it, while I was on the phone, and it was an interesting written piece. I mean, the first thing I noticed up at the front end of this written document was the use of certain language like law, LORE, and the jurisdiction. Our jurisdiction's better than yours and stuff like that. So that immediately struck me that it had some Aboriginal law type of influence behind it. Okay, that was the first thing. And some of the claims made about stoppage and shutting the country down and having that level of support was, I thought, wow. I mean, they're big statements. They are big statements. I mean, we know over the last 4 years, or certainly over the last 2 years since Canberra, we've had a lot of experience in what level of energy is out there still left in the protest movement, and there's not a lot, I'm afraid, to report. But look, while I was on the phone to Darren actually got this author of the letter on the phone, and we had a three-way discussion. I had a 30-minute Q&A with this guy. His handle, he's known as Tex, T-E-X, and so Tex and I had a Q&A discussion. I asked him about who he was, his street credibility. I couldn't get much there. What level of support that he had, how much work's been put into the community to prepare him, how much the community would support this sort of action, and that sort of questions all along those lines, like an old trade union lefty communist. You know what we're like. So, and then I finished by saying, look, I'll have a look at the letter and I will see if I can. I'll see if I can get a lift. I live on a boat. I don't have a motor vehicle, but I said if I can get a lift, I'll come up 2 hours west of Brisbane to a town called Dalby and see if we can meet. But I said, let me consider. Now, I then hung up on that phone call on last Saturday. That's where I left it. Now, I then Saturday and then Sunday, I had to canvass all this. I was on the phone and email and canvassed with a few people. I'm not hundreds, but a few activists whose opinions and that I respected, and to see what sort of feedback they would pass on to me. Now, the feedback I got was basically, and I agree with this feedback, by the way, was first of all, not enough work has gone into the public to get behind this national strike to justify a truckers' blockade. They thought, it's too early. It's just too early. We haven't done enough work to prepare the public for it. And that was the sort of first feedback that came. And the second one was got down to, could Tex deliver what he says he could do, and people just didn't believe it. The activist that I spoke to said he's not going to be able to do and carry out this sort of a statement that he's written down. So anyway, with that feedback, and I had to sit and reflect today. I've sent a SMS message out to Tex on his phone. That's all I've got contact with him, and that's all I have is his anonymous first name Tex, to say, look, I will not be going out to Warwick. Sorry, not Warwick, I'm sorry, my apologies, out to Dalby on the Darling Downs to try and meet with him. But I'd left the door open and said if he wanted to call upon me on my boat, then he was welcome to do so. I further advised him that it was a far better idea for him to get behind the National Strike Australia's plans and what we were going to do if he had this firepower, this industrial leverage that he claims to have. It's far better getting in behind our work rather than doing a wildcat style of lockdown and that sort of stuff next month in April sometime, whenever it was mentioned in the letter. So, I sent that out to him today, and I sent an email back to Darren Bergworth advising Darren of pretty much the same thing, you know what I mean, that I wasn't going to meet him, and these were the concerns raised, and I sought some advice and so on. So I've done that. These were the discussions that I've had behind the scenes, and these were the approaches and responses and stuff like that that I followed through with. My last job, ladies and gentlemen, was to keep you guys advised, and as I indicated to you that I've really got to be on guard. All of us have to for infiltration and for other people to try and wreck this national strike Australia's initiative. So we got to be on guard for all of this, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I've already said, I know it was just loose talk, but it's true. You're going to see, you're going to hear very soon, you watch this happen. You're going to have someone come out and say, yeah, oh, what a great idea this national strike is. Oh, what a wonderful idea. I love it. Oh, and Como John, what a great bloke, blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing he'll say, oh, look, I'm so happy. Let's go and kill a whole bunch of cops. Or let's go and set some bombs off or something like that. You watch it, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's going to happen. Just to come out and discredit the strike and discredit me, and to cause law enforcement, or to give cause to law enforcement to try and crack down on the strike and to crack down on me. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. You watch it. So all of us have to be vigilant. I'm trying to build in two protections. One is the architecture of the whole machinery of the strike itself that's going on behind the scenes, and with you guys, I'm trying to make the architecture as organic and flat as possible to have multiple people involved and all that. And I'm also trying to be as transparent as I possibly can. And by transparency, there's sometimes I cannot say certain things. That's just the fact of life. I've got to keep my own counsel. We are dealing with very dangerous people, ladies and gentlemen, and we are taking our nation back. So don't forget that. This is very, very serious business. But it is my intention, and my only protection, by the way, is to be very transparent about what I'm doing and why. Okay? And that's my intentions to you. All right, so I needed to deal with this report that's come around on social media. I needed, a few people have raised it with me. I mean, it wasn't a huge deal, but it needed to be dealt with. Um, and I needed to let you know roughly. Again, early days, I didn't know anything at all, but someone did bring it to my attention that it arose out of an interview between Carl and Darren Bergworth on a Voice of Freedom interview. And I thought, okay, wow, this is interesting. Then I was contacted. Carl then, sorry, I'm not Carl. Darren then passed on a copy of the correspondence itself, and then plugged me into a three-way with the person allegedly who wrote the correspondence. I had half an hour with this guy. He did not leave me with any confidence that he had the skills and experience to carry out what he says he wants to carry out. He didn't give me any confidence at all. And as you know, this is not my first rodeo. I know a few things about this stuff. And so that's the first thing. And then I sought counsel from a number of people, and they all came back saying, no, it's you know, we haven't done enough work with the general public, mate, for them to choke down you know, something radical, something far radical like this. And I tend to agree with them. We need the National Strike Australia's whole program is to roll out strike actions and to get people to gradually buy in. Remember, a couple of things that on you know, they have all of the force. They have the government, the cops, and all that. They have all the force, right? Building a blockade is building force to meet their force. Okay, so you've got our force, trucker force, and their force. That's what you are building. That's the business model with this particular piece of correspondence and what it means. And Como John is saying, no, they have the force. We are building power, people power, and people power takes time to build. And you've got to get them to buy into that. You've got to get them to have skin in the game, and slowly pulling them in using, you know, strike actions, you know, a whole variety of strike actions instead of shock tactics, which is a lockdown. That's what that would mean, shock tactics. You know, all the advice that came back to me was saying, no, that's not going to work. It will end up working against us. And the other thought that sort of comes into my head, and I can't help but say this, right, is that the mantra of the Freemasons is order out of chaos, all right? Order out of chaos. And yeah, I don't intend to give them chaos. I don't intend for this national strike to lead to chaos. That is not my intention, and certainly it's going to be planned and executed far differently from that. No, no, this is not, and I'm not advocating for chaos. Our enemies want chaos so that they can reset this nation the way they want to reset it. No, no, we've got to build power here, ladies and gentlemen, not force. And a national truck blockade is building force, and we don't have the gas in the tank, and we don't have the horsepower under the bonnet to get that done. And I just don't believe that this Tex chap is the same. I don't believe that he has the ability to do that as well. Now, I'm happy to be proved wrong. I'm happy to accept their support. I'm happy to accept their support. If they do want to get in behind our national strike, I'm happy to accept their support. But no chaos, no chaos, no crazy shit, mate. No, no. I mean, I'm trying to bring mums and dads and granddads with me. I'm trying to bring families into this war and into this strike to save our nation, right? And that they won't tolerate any crazy shit, mate. They won't, and neither will I. Okay. This is for our nation. If you have got anything crazy in your heads out there, any of yous, please try to rise above it and put your nation and your country first, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to rescue our nation here, remove a very, very tyrannical, you know, belligerent occupation that has us by the throat. Try to rise above your personal wars and problems that you've got going on in your life, and make a contribution to this strike and put your weight behind it. That's what I'm asking you to do. Okay. Now I hope I've done enough to deal with this. I hope I don't have to come back to it, and people are satisfied, because I don't intend to talk about it anymore. There's nothing in it for me or the national strike to discuss it much more. Unless something comes up, I will. Look, behind the scenes, guys, we're still working on our new website and the machinery that goes in behind that. We still need a few more days. We're trying to get it done by the end of this week. Okay, I think you're going to like it. I think you are going to like it. But you know, there is within the machinery and in the web page, we've got our landing page. We now need to get some other pages designed and get the architecture right for that, and then link it all in with the customer manual or the customer management system that we have at the back of that. Okay, so please stay with us. It's going to be www.nationalstrikeaustralia.org. That's what it's going to be when it goes live. Not yet though, not yet. Give us a few more days. Okay. Thank you, everyone. That's the end of my report. It's 17 minutes. I really appreciate it. Spread this around, guys. I don't have a big reach. Como John does not have a big reach. You are the new media now. You realise that, and you realise we have a whole bunch of gatekeepers out there that don't want any of this information getting out. So I'm relying on your energy to overwhelm these pissant gatekeepers. I don't have the ability to do it myself. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon to everyone.